Hello everyone, I'm Danielle Mevick and I'm going to give you a presentation on labeling jars, not people. So before I start, I want you guys to get to know me a little bit better. So I'm Danielle Mevick. I grew up in a small town called Cazenovia, and it's about 30 minutes outside of Syracuse. I was a 3 and 4 sport athlete growing up, a social butterfly, had a lot of friends, participated in a lot of extracurricular activities outside of school, spirit weeks, Winterfest. I was an A-plus student growing up, and I went to a community college before coming to Oneonta, where I'm at now, pursuing my education degree. Throughout school, I was labeled as a student with a disability. Whether it was from teachers or from students, I would hear this a lot. I was told I was a slow reader, a bad reader when we would be doing popcorn or reading exercises in front of a whole class. I was known as a resource ranger when I went to the resource room to get my accommodations, and I constantly heard that I was an IEP student from teachers. Some comments that I got that I heard frequently growing up were they give you the answers, which I would hear this every single time I went to go take my test and get my accommodations up in the resource room. I've heard she's an IEP student, she has an IEP, she's in resource, and the worst one yet was from my 9th grade teacher who told me, I don't know how to teach you. I want to start off with defining what is a label. Google defines it as a classifying phrase that is given to a person or a thing, especially one that's inaccurate and restrictive. And this happens a lot in education. So let's talk about how negative words stunt our growth. So we all know that if you talk to someone negatively and it's constant and they hear it year after year as they grow up, it's going to be long lasting. It's going to live with them. It's going to keep replaying over and over in their head to the point that they're going to act like that. So this article by Dara Schiffer talks about the stigma of a label and the labeling theory, and talks about the negative effects of a label, how it stigmatizes students and affects their attitudes and behaviors. That being said, they are going to perform at the level that you label them as. It affects their determinations, their goals, their confidence. For me, I used my label as a student with a disability the opposite way. Some students will do this also. They'll use it as motivation and determination to better themselves. They'll use it as a learning opportunity and self-assess them and see their capabilities that are more than just the label that they've been given. I want you guys to take a look at this quote over here. I was told this from a professor at SUNY Oneonta, Professor Russell, and he told me that it's not learning disabled, but learn differently. And I believe this is so true. Just because some students are labeled learning disabled or they have a learning disability, it's because they got tested. I think all students should get tested because everyone learns differently. And I think that not only that, but it will also help the teacher better address how they need to teach certain students. And if you look to the quote on the right by Kessner, she talking about how the labeling theory labels those students as those kids. Those kids is also referred to their skin color, how they behave, their disabilities. And she's basically saying to find their unique abilities. Don't label them for something negative or something they might not succeed at. Find things that they excel at and show that to them. Show them that they're more and give them more positive labels than the one they constantly hear. How you as a teacher can make a difference. Find or expect the best in every student. Don't limit them. I want you to embrace each other's differences. So yes, some student might not be a good reader, but they might be a strong writer. They might learn differently at reading. They might not like to read from a book, but they might really understand everything that's going on if it gets read to them through an audiobook. Then I also want you guys to look at how you prepare students for any future. Growing up, I was told, oh, you should go to community college. All the resource teachers were telling me, you should go to community college. They would never push me to go to a university or push me to go farther. Prepare your students for the best. Make them exceed, make them grow. Don't push them for things that you think they will be better in. I also want you guys to not use negative labels. Don't say that they're a resource kid. Don't say that they have a learning disability. Say that they just learn differently. Say everyone learns differently. Don't treat them any different. I want you to think twice about how you label your students. 1, how will you address labels in your classroom? 2, how can you help fix the stigma of the resource room? And 3, what is your role as a teacher to students with disabilities? I want to end on this last note that I am Danielle Mevick, a strong, determined, outgoing, personable, school-oriented student who just learns differently than others. Don't label us. Thanks.